are these people?
So, like I said, we're going to continue on what's happening in the UAW, and that the Bernie Bros from Brooklyn are pushing out the rank and file from the UAW communications office. This is another problem that's happening at the UAW. One person.
The Bernie Bros from Brooklyn.
This is, again, Mike Elk.
Big, bad.
Go ahead.
It was just very alliterative. My apologies.
Big bad Bernie Bros from Brooklyn. That's right. This is Mike Elk from Payday Report, paydayreport.com. Not .org, but I believe it's nonprofit. It's tax deductible if you donate there. But what he's talking about is in the communications office at UAW, one person who found their political patronage system threatened by Margaret Mock's open process is UAW Communications Director Jonah Furman, who controls the union's multi-million-dollar budget. Again, we talked a little bit about Furman earlier. Jonah Furman is a DC-based union consultant who had previously worked as the top labor liaison for the Bernie Sanders campaign and at Labor Notes. All right. He also has his own Substack, whogetsthebird.substack.com.
Coming to a Substack newsletter near you.
I knew she was coming. She's going to open one at some point. Rachel Maddow is coming to a Substack near you at some point. I promise. With over 60...
Coming to a Substack newsletter near you.
See, she just announced it right now. With over 60,000 Twitter followers, Furman, like we said, is a social media powerhouse and commands a legion of labor fans who have turned Fain into the most famous labor leader in the country. Well, him and Sean O'Brien both. However...
Yeah, and I also don't know about famous, but sure, whatever.
Infamous, famous... El Guapo, do you know what that word means? Anyway.
I mean, Chris is apparently chopped liver, I guess. But,
Well, he's also unemployed at this point, I believe. But, however.
I'm sure. Well, yeah.
Members of the UAW's local union communication association, who is UAW Luca, complained that Furman was turning away from previous hires from the rank and file of UAW to hire Beltway-connected consultants, hiring many of the talented content makers of the Bernie campaign. The hires paid off and made Fain a household name, but rank-and-file UAW members felt left excluded. Wow, this is an argument that we've been making for 3 years, that there is no representation of the rank-and-file workers coming out of any PR department from any organized union. The Teamsters are starting to do it a little bit. Amazon Labor Union did it for about 5 minutes, and then they stopped. Hopefully they may pick it up again, but we'll see what happens there. The latest round of hiring for the International UAW Communications Department is to be filled with all candidates that are non-UAW candidates. Why? Bringing the department to a ratio where less than half of the staff was UAW before entering the department, wrote the rank-and-file members in a leaked petition obtained by Payday Report. I wonder how he got that. This group of UAW local leaders signing it include Jesse Kelly of UAW 160 and Luigi Gukal and 5 or 6 others, all right, of different locals. Quote, we the undersigned of UAW Luca representatives petition a meeting with Jonah Furman. They just have to put out a petition to even ask for a meeting to discuss the recent decision and direction of the department to cease to use content that is created by rank-and-file UAW members until the International UAW Communications Department is represented by a majority of staff who were UAW members prior to accepting the role in the department. How are you supposed to represent the members if you never worked there? Don't even know them. Interact with them. With Fain facing increasing pressure from within the UAW and complaints that they lost a high-profile UAW election in Alabama over a digital media heavy and organizing light model, he has increasingly relied on Furman to work his contacts in the press. We know about this. In June, Federal Monitor Neil Borofsky filed a complaint in court asking a federal judge to order the UAW to hand over more documents. A rash of, all of a sudden, negative headlines appeared about the UAW. Then, a story relying on one anonymous source appeared accusing Borowski, like we said, who had served as a monitor investigating Credit Suisse for hiding Nazi money, of having a Zionist bias.
Huh.
The UAW social media influencer allies kicked into higher gear to brand Borowski as a Zionist, one who was upset over the UAW's position on Gaza and was retaliating by investigating Fain's controversial purges. Guess who he called?
Okay.
Guess who he called? We'll get to that in a minute. Who did Jonah
Mhm.
Furman call? He had friends in the independent press. The reporting mentioned nothing about the court-ordered survey of hundreds of UAW employees that showed widespread fear of Fain's purges of allies suspected of disloyalty. Of course, that never was mentioned. Look at the beginning of the next paragraph. Ryan Grimm, the author of the viral hit piece that relied on a single anonymous source, which might have been Jonah Furman's wife for all we know, failed to mention one key point, that his top editor was married to Jonah Furman. That might be a conflict of interest. Slightly.
It might be.
Now, on top of all of that, the ADL threatens the UAW with an anti-BDS lawsuit. I love this. So, the UAW, has called for an end to the siege in Gaza. They want, they called for a ceasefire very tepidly while endorsing the Democrats and not really calling for it. But the rank and file membership certainly wants it to stop. I mean, we've certainly seen that.
Even calling for it at this point, like we've talked about this. We've had these discussions. Ceasefire's like the bare minimum half measure.
Yep.
Like, like it's almost like you could just say that. But they're not calling for like single Palestinian liberated state, clearly. Like,
no,
but
definitely
sure.
not. Democratic, independent, non-secular return to the people that were running it before 1948 state. Because the whole thing was, that's a whole other story. Let's look into, you can look into exactly what that story is before. But anyway, we support independent media. We are totally user funded. We really appreciate the people that hang out in chat. They are the people that make this network and this channel what it is. And without you guys, we don't really exist. I mean, we would do this even if it was just us. We started out just us, but man, we need all that support that you can give us. So we really appreciate that. We got that QR code up there. We talked about this last week, but we're going to have the Zago brothers create some cartoon art. They've gotten already about 15 Indie Media Award honorees they had done on this poster called Truth Tellers. Hey, how about that? IndieMediaAwards.substack.com. You can see the whole list. But those are the best of the best in independent media. From live streamers to journalists to outlets and video creators, we have a list with all of their links and ways to find and support them. And we're going to do something special this year. We teamed up with Zago Brothers to create cartoon illustrations of each Indie Media Award honoree and even some people to represent some of the outlets. We were trying to figure out what to do. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And so that's what the QR code and the Ko-fi is going to go towards, is supporting that with Zago and paying him for his time and for his work.